Let's get right to it and bring out our panelists. First up, she plays Clark, an Australian actress making her U.S. debut, Eliza Taylor. He plays Finn. Among his many credits includes Suburgatory, Thomas McDonnell. She's been seen on series like Cult and Fringe. Marie Avgeropoulos plays Octavia. Little injured, but she's okay. Next up, we've got the guy who developed this series, executive producer, and his upcoming credits include writing a new Twilight Zone film, Jason Rothenberg. Another executive producer, his credits include Chuck and Human Target, Matt Miller. Guy with a ton of credits to his name, including Grey's Anatomy, Isaiah Washington. And an actor who I think might be somewhat familiar if you're at Comic-Con. He was on a show called Lost, Henry Ian Cusack. So guys, let's start out. Let me start with you, Jason, because you're adapting this from a series of books that has not come out yet. So, are you sort of talking with the writer and making sure that the stories are pretty close, or is it basically sort of taking the same idea and going in your own direction with it?
The writer's name is Cass Morgan. The book comes out, it's an Alloy book, comes out in the fall. And the answer is not really. We're not handcuffed to it at all. It's a little bit like with Game of Thrones, great series of books, Lord of the Rings, great series of books, but if you change anything, the audience gets upset. We don't have that problem here, because nobody's read the books yet. So
they're going to read the
we'll
book
do
and
whatever
say
works. The books are inspirational.
And, Matt, the one thing that kind of stands out to me with where we are by the end of the pilot is you've got two distinct sets of characters in two distinct locations. Do you almost approach it like you've got two shows you're telling, one on Earth and one up in the space station?
Well, I think short answer is no. I mean, I think that the concern would be that it would feel like two different shows. Jason, when he created the show, has always talked about it being Battlestar Galactica meets Lost, and
and you got Gata and you got Desmond, so good going.
Exactly. It was one of each. Right. Yes, it was very important to us to cast someone from each of those shows. But the idea is, in going forward with series, is to make sure it doesn't feel like two totally disparate worlds, even though visually they're going to look quite different and story-wise be a little bit different. In the pilot, there's very little time that the characters on the ground spend with the people on the spaceship. So we're going to have to figure out a way in series to bring them together, be it flashbacks or things like that, where we see them interacting with one another, or if people on the Ark learn that Earth is in fact survivable, do they send somebody down, and how does that story unfold?
We talk about it as it's like the salted caramel, right? The salt makes the caramel better. Caramel's the ground, the Ark is the salt.
Jason's the caramel, I'm the salt.
Yes, it's true.
Now, Ian, your character obviously made quite a big move in this pilot. Things didn't sort of work out the way he was going because Isaiah's character wasn't in the state he thought he was. I'm assuming, safe to say, you think that this guy is not going to just sit by now, that it turns out Jaha is okay, that he might have some more moves he's doing to try to exert control?
Are you saying that I had Jaha killed? Are you saying that I tried to kill him?
I'm just saying
because I'm not sure about that.
He might be opportunistic. If he might.
He is opportunistic,
Yeah.
but sometimes the most powerful man is the man whispering in the air behind the most, allegedly most powerful man. So, I don't know. Yes, of course, there's going to be a lot more shenanigans going on from my character trying to get his way, and how that unfolds. You'll just have to tune in to see.
And Isaiah, do you think this is a big eye-opener for you on Kane? Will your character now be watching him pretty closely now?
I think he's going to be watching all 4,000 people. I think that's the wonderful juxtaposition that is going to afford me an opportunity to be as pliable as I probably have ever been asked of a character, is knowing that amongst this treachery that you guys all witnessed, I still have to form a formidable team of rivals to get the job done. And that's to try to be the guy to make the hard decisions, to decide who's worthy of being a part of this new inhabitable Earth. And I'm just very interested to see how I'm going to be pushed and pulled with all the dynamics from all the wonderful characters and the wonderful actors to get us to that storytelling.
So Marie, first let's get out of the way. What happened? What happened to the foot?
Oh, you didn't see it? My parachute didn't deploy. Dropping down.
Okay,
Was
okay.
I in that?
Yeah. Well, there's a couple people who are much worse off than you, so I'm glad to hear that. Okay.
No, I'm shooting a action thriller called Tracers right now in New York with Taylor Lautner, and been doing all my own stunts. Been fine, and then cut to doing my, butt blasting workout, and I rolled it doing squats. Boo. Murphy's Law.
But say you did it doing like a car chase scene.
Yeah, the show must go on.
Your character is obviously very unique because she has a sibling at all. That just doesn't happen. While she was away on this pilot, things certainly developed with her brother. He made some big moves of his own.
Yeah.
When she is reunited with him, do you think that they have a obviously close sibling bond? They love each other. But will she, you think, be pretty conflicted about what these sort of decisions he's making, these proclamations
Yeah,
he's
I
making?
mean, Octavia, in one way or another, was locked up all of her life. Being the second child, and that's not allowed, due to population control, she was hidden until she was 13 years old underneath the floorboards. So when then she got busted for that, they floated or killed her mother and put her in jail. So now that Octavia's on Earth, and her brother gave her the polite gift of giving her the whole Neil Armstrong, first woman to step on the Earth experience.
Yeah.
She wants to do whatever the hell she wants now that she's free, and will, absolutely. So when Octavia, being the defiant woman she is, starts getting into trouble, I'm sure he's going to try to be the protective older brother and wrap his mitts around her, and I'm sure she's going to be like, ugh, let me do what I want.
Gotcha. Well, that's
we'll
his
see.
philosophy too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Eliza, your character, she got an interesting warning from her mom at the beginning about her instinct to help people and basically how that could get her into trouble. Do you think she's going to be able to sort of heed that warning, or will she be so drawn to run to help that it could get her in trouble?
I mean, Clark's just a natural born leader. I mean, I think at the beginning it's a bit confusing for her when her mum says that. But she does realize as soon as she gets to Earth that she does need to step up to this position of being a leader and getting people to food and water and safety. So, yeah.
Now, Thomas, your character, he's obviously sort of reckless, a daredevil, but meanwhile, while he was gone as well, we see this thing happening back at camp and the whole do whatever you want. Do you think he'd, go along with that?
Whatever the hell we want.
Whatever the hell we want. That's right. Do you think that he would certainly live by that as well, or maybe there's more of a responsible guy underneath there that may say, well, maybe we don't do whatever the hell we want?
No, he definitely goes his own way. I don't think he's the kind of guy to talk about it quite so much. No.
So yeah, but he'll be watching silently and coming up with his own observations.
Yeah, he's a watcher.
He's a watcher. I guess the girls should watch out for that. Do you guys, for the producers, because we are obviously seeing quickly factions forming within the 100, will there be more people sort of splintering off with their own philosophies about what they should do?
Yeah, I mean, season 1 is really about the internal dynamics. It's a little bit, obviously, of Lord of the Flies writ large, and it's about those two groups, the one that wants to sort of follow the rules and keep things the way that it was on the Ark, and the other that just wants to go totally crazy. But of course, as we realize at the end of the pilot, there's something else at play in this world, and that external threat will sort of bring them together, hopefully. If they don't become a group, they're going to die. That's, the bottom line. So.
Guys, we don't have a lot of time, but I'd like to take at least a couple of questions if we want to start getting ready for that. First time, though, I wanted to ask Isaiah, your character has a son down there, which I would, obviously, he knows that he has to take control, and he's responsible for so many people, but in the back of his mind, he must be brooding on the fact that his son is down there. Do you think that could sort of endanger some of the decisions he makes?
I certainly hope so. I know it would be a humane dynamic that I can't wait to digest and see how that resonates on camera, what the audience will feel ultimately about that information. And I think the best part of storytelling is these guys here, which I think all these guys need a round of applause. Look at this, this room is full, man. This is amazing. This is my first time at Comic-Con, but wow, this is, wow. That's a lot of tweeting going on out there, man. Especially from, I see Assassin's Creed, one of my favorites. I see, Splinter Cell over there holding it down. What, there's no Halo in the house? Okay, I didn't get my Halo. All right, but yeah, I trust Jason Rothenberg implicitly, and I trust this cast, and I'm just happy to be here to support and be a part of this wonderful commitment and this wonderful transformative transitional opportunity that hopefully we can bring the CW network into a place where it can contend with all these other heavy hitters out there in the world. So that's what I'm here for.
Ian, do your character, all these characters are in such an extreme situation. Can you see in a, sort of sad way where he's coming from, that he is being very just sort of looking at the bottom line?
Of course, my character is totally pragmatic and doing the right thing according to him. Of course, all our characters do that, and I would love to get the viewers to eventually see my point of view and see that I am in fact right.
And we have time for a couple of questions from the audience.
Oh, great. I love it.
No, I in my spare time when I wasn't working in television back home, I was teaching and I was a dialect coach, so I actually taught the American accent for a while, so I got to learn that. I was trained to teach it. So that made it a lot easier coming here and doing it.
So can you help me out with mine?
I can, yeah.
Thank you.
Yours needs some work, so.
Ian, you seem like you wouldn't have an on-set tutor anymore, but
I do now.
Yeah.
Great, perfect. That's going to save the company a little bit of money, I think.
Next question, please.
I was actually looking to tell a way to tell that story. Lord of the Flies is one of my favorite books, stories of all time, and I was trying to figure out a way to tell that story writ large when I read this book, and it sort of just clicked into place. So it was totally by design, it was premeditated, and I think Cass would probably say the same thing if she was here. Clearly that's what she was going for, so.
Next question.
Absolutely, the wristbands are the link that the kids have to their parents and that the parents have to the kids, and little by little, Bellamy will be pulling those off of people, trying to make it appear like the ground is not survivable, which allows Ian's character, Kane, and Jaha together, unfortunately, falls prey to it, realize that that the kids are dying down there, which leads to some very intense drama up there.
And his own son, he thinks is dead on the ground.
Yeah, and we intend to go, very deeply into that idea and mine it for as much drama as we can. We're being encouraged to be as dark and as real and as intense as we possibly can be by the network, which is incredible.
Which is going to be very difficult for me.
Well, guys, that's all the time we have for now, but, thanks for checking out The 100 and everyone here on the panel. It's coming mid-season on the CW. Look for it. Thanks a lot, guys.